The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to another week of the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, here with my favorite co-host and yours, Miss Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International.
I'm not married yet.
Yeah, no, Miss. And then we have the man with the plan for your brand, Mr. Ran. The man with the plan. Actually, I'm just going to introduce you for now on, Ran, with the man with the plan for your brand. Every single time I bring you in, that's how I'm going to bring you in.
Ran, the man with the plan for your brand.
For your brand with Blue Pearl Design and Printing. Thank you for joining us to round off the trifecta, the three amigos and una amiga of the Common Good Radio Show. We decided at the Common Good Media Group that I was just entirely too bland by myself. so we brought in just two dynamic people in Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International and Rand Williams with Blue Pearl Design and Printing to bring a little flavor. So thank you both.
Thank you so much.
You.
Yeah, absolutely. And but as we all know, this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace and give thanks to a very loving God that, one, allowed these two people to trust me and trust the vision that we have with creating a platform for good. It was for the God that just kind of just made all these blessings in our life. So usually I think with the Lord's Prayer goes a little something like this: Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
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 So that being said, I want to introduce one of Tucson's number one friends. Definitely number one friend of everybody in this studio. We all love and adore him, big fans of him, a personality that's bigger than probably any room that he's ever stood in. I don't think there's a stadium that can withstand the magnificence that is him. And this man is Don Zavis. If you haven't came in his vicinity, then I'm sorry for you. If you have, then you know exactly who I'm talking about. And thank you for being on the show, brother.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And I will tell you that that is one of the most gracious introductions I think I've ever gotten. So I really do appreciate that. And it is truly a labor of love. The things that I do, but that is so kind of you to say, because it is enormously appreciated. Thank you so much.
Well, you tell me, Rand, Alicia, you've met this man, well earned, right?
Very well earned.
Yeah.
Dynamic, friendly, professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome guy.
He's a guy. I've learned so much from him. I've been blessed to partner with him on our networking events that we do at the Sands Club every Wednesday. And but I mean, all that to say, you as well are a world-renowned sales professional, speaker, coach, consultant, grand poobah, and everything great that is sales. And this, if now more than ever, we just past Labor Day, this is the time that businesses care about their sales and what they're going to do to meet those yearly goals, those quarterly goals more than ever. So having sat in on many of your workshops and lectures around sales, let's get started on the conversation of those fourth quarter goals and what business owners should be thinking about and doing to meet those goals.
Well, and thank you so much. I appreciate it, because that's kind of near and dear to my heart. And it's interesting. We actually did a session today called The Day After Labor Day. And what essentially happens is the business world really gives us a gift, because historically the business community after Labor Day kind of gets serious about business again. The kids are back from, summer vacation, people are kind of back to work. It's like the whole business world gets serious again. So, and not only are they getting serious because they've got to post success towards the end of the year, but certainly they want to kick off next year kind of off with a bang. So if you have a business that is one that will help them improve their sales results, hit their quotas for next year, essentially help them do something better, now is absolutely the time. If you have a business, maybe, for example, a nonprofit that looks to get revenue or donations, a lot of times those budgets are set in such a way where they become available after the first of the year. And so you don't really want, if you're a nonprofit looking to get those donations, you may not want to call them, the first week of January, because, they've long made their commitments back in September and October of the previous year. So, again, the business world has given us a gift of, now it recognizes the activity that's in the world.
Nice. And what is the biggest kind of, whether it's, fourth quarter after Labor Day or just kind of this time of year, the biggest mistake you see businesses making that if they just made that little twerk, that little tweak, it would really change the way what they were looking at going into next year?
Well, they drag a lot of the baggage from this year and the next year. So we have a concept that we coach and train to called start, stop, or increase. And I encourage all of my clients that everything they do in their business, even things that seem seemingly insignificant, need to be identified and they need to be evaluated. Is it something that we should stop doing? Have we been doing this, for 20 years, and the only reason we do it this year is because we did it last year, and the only reason we did it last year is because we did it the year before. So evaluate all aspects of your business. What should I continue doing more of? What's working? And I want to improve upon that. What am I doing that's really not working based on empirical evidence? Or what am I not doing that I should get started? So, for example, a podcast, is this it? Maybe you've thought about it for a long time and, kick that can down the road. And now as you evaluate ending this year and going the next year, you want to be able to say, you know what, I'm not doing a podcast. I'm not taking my, and Rand is fabulous at what he does in terms of, he did my flyers and they were fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And all too many times people don't look at the things that are unsuccessful. They just drag them in the year. So I think the number one thing is really no effective evaluation of, again, what should we stop doing that's not working? What should we start doing that we're not even doing? And ultimately, what should we improve upon, the things that are actually working for us?
Interesting. And I want to open up to Alicia a little bit, kind of as a real estate agent. What question would you have for a sales professional that you think that would not only help you, but other people that are in the industry?
I think he did. I think that question you asked and his answer gave me lots of insight of like what I can do towards the end of the year to help my business. And I think it's great that he pointed out, like, it's literally never too late to try something new, try something that you think can work, stop doing the things that aren't working for you. And I think really realizing your strengths and your weaknesses and work on those weaknesses, especially before the new year starts, so you can start to see what's working for you and what's not. So that was really good.
Yeah. And I guess, the question I'd turn back to you, Dawn, is what are you going to do so we can all kind of glib from that going into next year that's going to set you up?
Well, I'm committed to networking.
Okay.
And I'm committed to private club networking. Tucson is blessed because we have wonderful opportunities to face. We've got, Stacy does a wonderful program at night. All of the chambers do some version of it, the Rotaries, the Kiwanuses. There is wonderful opportunities for face-to-face interactions. The little niche that I've kind of pulled out for ourselves is that private club environment, because I find that these are people that are already bound together by a membership, the membership in the club, that in many cases they see these relationships underpinned by business improvement. They join a club. They, hope to make relationships out of the club. So in our world, we're going to bring the things that are already wonderful, and we're going to do more of those. So we start later this month at the Oro Valley Country Club, which we've been looking to do for a long, long, long time. And there are other clubs that we're having initial discussions with, but my goal is to add one or two, not only in our area, but certainly expand those areas in the Green Valley and as you go towards Phoenix and, some of the outlying areas that have wonderful, again, these private club environments, most people see as an expense. And in reality, done properly, it is an absolutely wonderful investment. To me, every dollar that you pay in that environment, in my opinion, is really an investment.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you or seek your services?
So the number one way is just Google Don Zavis. There is so much of my shameless propaganda out in the world that you'll be batting it away with a fly swatter.
Nice.
DonZavis.com is probably the best way.
Thank you so much, Don. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain here with Alicia Sanchez and Rand Williams. We'll be right back.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program, Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, by God's grace, the founder of that Veteran Rescue Mission. Believe it or not, I have a hard time believing it myself sometimes. And I'm here with two amazing co-hosts, as you'll get used to. I'm still getting used to it myself. I feel I'm going to pinch myself. It's like too good to be true. But I have Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International, your favorite co-host and favorite real estate agent. I'm going to make her your favorite real estate agent.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Your favorite real estate agent, Alicia Sanchez. And then we have Rand Williams, the man with the plan, here with Blue Pearl Design and Printing. Thank you, brother. How you doing?
Brother, I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
I love being here.
And I always do kind of like a little plug. How do people get a hold of you if they want to utilize your services?
They can visit the website at bluepearldesignandprinting.com.
Awesome.
And otherwise, you can email me at bluepearldesignandprinting@cox.net.
Awesome. Yeah, and definitely, I highly recommend you check it out. The greatest eye of any artist I've ever known, my opinion. 1,000% biased, though. I must say that.
I like your bias.
Yeah. But that being said, I have another guy with a great eye, but not an eye for your brand and for design, but an eye for your insurance needs and your needs as a whole. Because definitely, as I get to know him more and more, like, this guy is very a multi-layered, rich character of an individual that I'm blessed to get to know, and certainly blessed to great in our relationship. And I say all that to say, welcome to the show, Roman Campuzano.
Thank you.
Yeah, with Countrywide Insurance. And did I forget anything?
No.
Yeah, okay, good. That being said, the kind of the theme of the show today is fourth quarter, and we're out of Labor Day into the fourth quarter, things that we're considering, nails that we're biting that we didn't even know we have because we're stressed out. We want to meet those yearly goals, we want to meet those fourth quarter goals, and also we have to make sure that our liabilities and our boxes are checked and our corners are squared away. So from the insurance realm, what does that look like?
When it comes to business, there is an aspect of it that either shows you what a business is really about. And when I say that, I mean there's a piece of a fire that either comes into somebody's belly or leaves. And in one way or another, you're gonna see that kind of in the insurance thing. You're gonna see people faking injuries. You're gonna see people wanting to cut back on insurance coverage and so you'll see that also in the insurance industry. You'll see people go on vacation.
Mm.
You'll see people that will, really embrace family, but
Mhm.
maybe a little bit too much,
Mm,
because
mm.
we're all business people, and we all need to make a living. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're taking care of our family and the community and ourselves as a, as a primary source, so that we can
Mhm.
give more to others.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I know you had a thought earlier during the break.
Well, I was just curious, Roman, what would you say if you were to narrow down to one service that would be most beneficial for an individual or for a family? What would you advise them to, what direction to go in?
Sure.
Or insurance.
I believe that would be life insurance.
Mm.
And life insurance, it just sounds so basic when you really stop and think about it. It's as basic or as complex as you want it to be. You
Mm.
can make it complex if you don't want it and you want to have an excuse on why you don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's extremely affordable the younger you are. The older you get, the more expensive it gets.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any kind of indication that you're calling from, like I've had a phone call from the hospital
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's trying to get life insurance. Well, they're there, like, yeah, you've got a little bit of time to think, so I might think about life insurance at that time. But
Mm-hmm.
it's being proactive, just like anything else, man. In taxes and anything else that's big, education, having children.
Mm-hmm.
You might be kind of up there in age, and they're like, hey, I think I should have some children.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mhm.
that's something you should have thought about a little bit, a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never too late. There's always some kind of something. There are programs, there are insurance policies that you can write just for a final expense. There's insurance policies that you can write to give to, say you don't have kids, to give to your favorite charity, to give to your church, to give to animal shelters, anything of that sort. It's a very noble thing to do, and it's a way to be remembered once you're not here anymore.
Man, I almost want you to go through kind of like the full list of services or products you provide, but we don't have that much time. So, but as you're kind of just mentioning them, just thinking of like life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, disability insurance, etc., insurance that you guys provide, like there's some grave responsibility, a lot of responsibility that's on your shoulders.
Yes.
In doing that. Like my insurance agent, they are either setting up my family for generational wealth and for a legacy that will survive for hopefully many generations, or they're not. And
Yes.
I guess kind of to look at it kind of black and white. I hate to look at things so polar like that, but that's kind of what it looks like. So that, that kind of being the situation, what speak to the responsibility of being an agent, of being in
Okay.
this field, and taking on that responsibility when working with a client.
Yes. Well, there are two sides to that, and the one side you touched upon really heavily right now, and I'll speak to that here in just a second. But the other side of that is the liability piece, where it's not so much for the generational wealth type thing. It's more of a piece where you just insurance is just another word for, how about this? Car insurance, home insurance, business insurance are all different types of insurance that are just lawsuit insurance.
Mm-hmm.
To say, hey, if something happens,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to take care of you. Our lawyers are going to be the ones that are going to
Mm-hmm.
bat, and as an alternative to you having to put money out of your pocket
Mm-hmm.
to have that happen. So
Yeah.
and that stuff can get really scary.
Mm-hmm.
It can be intimidating. It can be something that will be over your head for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of cases, as any kind of court ruling, if it gets deep enough, it can actually go against they can actually garnish wages.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're having to get a second job.
Yeah.
And there's a whole spiral of things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one side. So it's liability / lawsuit insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side that you touched upon really heavily was the generational wealth type thing. And, life insurance is one of the only tools that is non-taxable when you transfer it.
Mm. Interesting.
And so, without any tax, there's big benefits to that.
Mm.
Because anything else that you do, that you're transferring over, with the tax implications that happen, I'm not a tax expert by any means, but I would want my family to have as many of the dollars that I put aside, or as many of the policy pieces that I put aside for them, without having to go through tax. I mean, I don't want to put them in a different tax bracket just so that they can receive the money that I'm going to pass down.
Yeah, and I mean, just to either to carry on your thought or just to add on to it, you're talking about these two boxes. You have the liability / lawsuit, cover your butt insurance,
Yes.
using pastor talk, and then in the other box you have the it's gonna happen insurance.
I like that. I like that you're saying it's
Mhm.
going to happen, because a lot of
Mhm.
people say the God forbid thing, but
Mm-hmm.
God's actually the person that's calling you.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what does the process look like once the life insurance gets transferred? Like, what's that time frame look like? Usually?
Well,
that's a good
to-
question.
yeah, absolutely. The process goes kind of simple. There's a death certificate that everybody's asking you for.
Mm-hmm.
So the phone company, the bank, everybody wants a copy of the death certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we'll require in order to process the claim, and it's just kind of like an insurance claim of some sort. But and it is important that we get that right away.
Mhm.
Once that happens, it's just about a check. It's a
Mm.
time
Oh.
frame and then a check, and it's
Mhm.
very
Oh.
short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Yes.
And then for people who want to utilize your services, what does that look like?
Well, you can Google me, Roman J. Campuzano. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Our company does a really good job of putting me out there.
Nice.
So it'll show whatever social media you're on, I'm on, and I would love to connect with you direct.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Roman.
Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program Veteran Rescue Commission. I'm Pastor John McClain, here with Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International. Ran the man with the plan with Blue Pearl Design and Printing. And as always, let's thank our sponsors, Proper Villains for Tucson, Allegro at Park and 22nd, We Care Tucson, 100 Plus Guys Who Gives, Tucson Tamale, Desert Sunset Realty, White Stallion Ranch, Roofs Are Hot, Always Faithful Home Inspection, Photography by Jonathan Aaliyah, Levity Wellness, Crest Insurance, Tucson Pack and Ship, Piper Family Painting, Steamy Concept, Donso Dust Landscaping, and Roman Campuzano, our favorite, Countrywide Insurance, and Kamamoksha, Ostrom Consulting, and Bin Masters. And remember, we'll be right back.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain of Veteran Rescue Mission, here with your favorite realtor, Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International.
Hi.
Bling. And then you have Ran the man with a plan for your brand Ran the man with a plan for, I just said it.
Just
For your
making
brand
sure.
With Blue Pearl Design and Printing. And those are your two co-hosts. Get used to them. They are the flavor to the show. I was told by polls and by our market research that I was too boring. So here we are. But speaking of men who definitely are not boring, the founder of 100 Plus Guys Who Give, and an organization that it's mind-blowing. If you don't know about this organization, I don't want to ruin it completely, but I'm blessed to be the chairman of the ambassador committee and kind of helping grow us to this 100 plus, meaning 1 million guys. But so far we're just a little over 100. But it's a group that meets every quarter to vote to give money to a nonprofit that we vote on. So if you're not sold at that, Mr. Jonathan LePage, let's sell him a little bit better. What do you think, bud?
Hello.
Hey, So for the people that are listening, give them a better breakdown of what 100 plus guys who give is, short of what I explained to them.
Yeah, so I mean, really, we're just a group of guys that come together, and over a course of an hour, we donate over $10,000 to a local nonprofit. Getting into how that works, each guy only donates $100, and we collectively pool that money together and get to hear some presentations from some guys that have nominated a nonprofit that they feel deserves that money. Once we hear those presentations, we ask some questions, and then we all vote. And whoever we select through that vote receives that collective donation. And right now we're giving about a little over $11,000 every quarter.
Yeah, it's been such a cool process to be part of. So far, I want to think probably just short a year that I've been part of 100 plus guys who give, but kind of break down some of the organizations that we've already donated to, and then I want to spin us into the dual give that we did just recently.
Yeah, so our nonprofits that we donate to are selected by our members, right? So they get to nominate them. Our group, I've noticed, tends to lean towards the things that help kids, the nonprofits that are helping kids, and definitely the nonprofits that are lower revenued and have a smaller revenue. So revenues that, nonprofits that have $100,000 a year coming in versus the nonprofits that have, $3 or $4 million a year coming in. Really feels like it makes a bigger impact. So the most recent one, you mentioned the combo big give with 100 plus women who care Tucson. We gave to Children's Clinics for Rehabilitative Services.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I think some of the past one. I want to think Southern Arizona Book Heroes, ICS.
Book Heroes, Interfaith Community Services. That's actually a larger revenued one, but it's one we like. Spreading Threads Clothing Bank, United Hearts of Arizona, Treasures for Teachers, Candlelighters Childhood Cancer Foundation.
Oh, how long
they're all on our website.
How long has 100 plus guys been around?
Believe it or not, we launched this awesome in-person event February of 2020.
Okay.
It's a really good time to launch that.
Really awesome. I like the idea behind it. It's really cool.
And Jonathan, how do you bring others into your organization to help out?
It's really just word of mouth. We don't do really advertising outside of really this radio show and Facebook and social medias. But yeah, just guys inviting other guys, say, hey, come check out this thing. We meet at Brother John's, so it's pretty easy to say, hey, come eat some good food and drink some beer and hang out.
Yeah, that's appropriate, brothers at Brother John's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely, Rand, from this moment on, you're definitely going to be joining me because you'll love these events. They're right kind of in the line of what we're used to attending. The group of guys that go to these things are, these are our guys.
Brothers.
Yeah, these are our guys.
Yeah.
But I guess speak, Jonathan, to just the journey of 100 plus guys who give, and how, going from that inception point back in 2020 and how it's taken off like a wildfire to where it is now. And the inspiration you drew from the 100 plus women who care, and and that's that awesome organization that's over 600, probably 700 members now. You actually know better than me. Your wife's, I think, part of that. So I guess speak to that the heroic rise of 100 plus guys who give since 2020.
Yeah, so obviously starting in February of 2020 was not ideal. We ended up launching online though on Zoom, and we initially had about 80 guys, and because of COVID happening, we dropped down to about 30. We were going to postpone it, but we decided to move forward with it and just start on Zoom. and we gave $3,200 to Youth on Their Own. Was our first big give, and like I said, I mean, over the years, like just kind of grassroots growing it, word of mouth, through some growing pains for sure of setting up how to collect payment and stuff like that. We're now at about 120 members. And yeah, I mean, the idea stemmed from the women's group. I was interested in it and took a look at how they ran theirs. And Desha, who's the founder of the women's group, kind of offered a hand and said, wanted to help me get the guys group up and going. And yeah, the rest is history.
That's cool. And kind of, what would you say? And this is an interesting question. Actually, kind of being part of, your Helping Hand group. Like, what are the biggest needs for the 100+ guys who give right now?
Right now, the biggest needs are just more members, just more guys that want to give back to the community, that don't have a lot of time, and maybe don't have a lot of money, but have a little bit. Right? It's $33 a month, and it's an hour every 3 months, and that's it. Mm-hmm. That's all you got to give, and you're a part of giving over $11,000, over $44,000 a year.
Yeah, and I'll ask this question. We'll probably go it over and over and over again, just so people kind of see just how easy the process is and make it as efficient as possible. What is that process in becoming one of the 100+ guys who give?
That process is really simple. You just show up, and we will walk you through how to get signed up. It's a super simple online sign up and payment. And you can do auto pay, so you set it and forget it, and then you just show up once a quarter for an hour.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm guessing the website, where they on their own they could sign up if they needed to.
Yeah, on their own they can sign up at the website, which is 100guyswhogivetucson.org, and that's 100 guyswhogivetucson.org. There's a join tab on there, and they can sign up that way.
Nice. And then let's talk about the upcoming give and upcoming events 100+ guys who give have going on. We have about a minute until we jump into the break.
Okay. So our next event is November 13th, which is a Wednesday at Brother John's on Stone. We do a little social hour from 5:30 to 6:30, which is optional, but it's awesome to get out there and chat with some of the guys that are part of the group. And then the big give itself starts at 6:30, and we will for sure be done by 7:30. We're usually a little bit ahead of schedule. But yeah, so November 13th, Wednesday at Brother John's.
November 13th at Brother John's. And then I know we always encourage, if you are a current member of 100+ guys who give, bring somebody. I guess if you're a visitor, bring somebody. I think the misnomer that a lot of people have about 100+ guys who give event, that we're some type of exclusive special handshake club. But no, it's not. No, come check it out. And if you like it, you'll stick around. Maybe you won't like it because you think that we're way too cool, and I get that, and you won't stick around. But yeah. So I guess one last time, how people can find information about 100+ guys who give and plug in.
Yeah, all the information can be found at our website, 100guyswhogivetucson.org. When our events are, everything about us is on there. And then, the next event, November 13th, everyone's welcome. Awesome. Everyone can come.
Well, thank you for being on the show, brother.
Thank you.
That's Jonathan LePage with 100+ Guys Who Give. I am Pastor John McClain with the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Here with your favorite realtor, Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International, and Rand, the man with the plan for your brand, with Blue Plural Design and Printing. Hey, so many words I gotta remember, man. Yeah. See you.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello. Hello, welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Rand's gonna get me in trouble. We cut up too much during the break.
Too
for
much.
sure, yeah.
Too much fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the way. That's why we brought you in. You're Mr. Fun. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah, and
brother.
I'll actually
He
introduce
is.
it backwards this time. Now we got Rand, the man on the plane with the brand, with Blue Pearl Design and Printing here with me. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
me as a co-host, brother.
Yes.
And then we have your favorite realtor and my favorite co-host, Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International. That's a good little line, huh?
Yeah, I like
Your
it.
favorite realtor and my favorite co-host.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry, Rand.
Noah. She's my favorite
Yeah,
co-host.
for sure. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And then we have my I want to say my favorite nonprofit, but I am a director of a nonprofit, so I'd be doing my board would probably get mad at me for saying that, but definitely one of my favorite nonprofits in the city of Tucson, easily. A diamond in the rough. Not enough people know about the greatness that is this organization. I mean, not only unique to our city, but I think unique to the United States. A lot of the stuff that you guys do. I mean, not saying that you're the only one, but there aren't too many like it. So I say all that to say welcome to the show, Mimi with We Care Tucson.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I
good to
missed
be
you.
here. I know
miss you.
we've just been busy.
So busy, good busy though.
Good busy,
Yeah,
good
I like
busy.
And yeah, definitely. I think I learned back when I was super bored. I'd rather be busy than bored.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But
Absolutely.
for those who don't have the good fortune of knowing what is the magnificence that is We Care Tucson, fill them in.
So our mission is to remove the barriers to information, education, and wellness. And how we do that is we take in used technology, all the old technology equipment that you have laying around, you bring it into us. We will restore what we can and sell it at low cost. What we can't use, we recycle, keeps it out of our local landfills. And we have a low-cost referral program that we work and partner with about 50 agencies in town that they send us clients. And then we saw a need for students who don't always necessarily have services. You know, they may not go to places like La Frontera, but they need the laptop. So we started our Student Tech Connection, where we get them a laptop by just showing your student ID or giving us your matrix number.
Nice.
And then we have a showroom that anybody can come in and buy computers at low cost. We have Apples as low as $50. Yeah, they're a little bit older, but they're still good. They still work.
Yeah.
And then we take in use medical supplies and equipment. We give them out free, and we're a loan chest for the medical equipment.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell us about Tech 2 that you have
A
coming
Tech
up?
Fest 2. So on October 2nd, or October 5th is our second Tech Fest. And it's in honor of Digital Inclusion Month. So October is Technology Awareness Month.
Okay.
And the second week, or the first full week of October, is digital inclusion. And in honor of that, we have this Tech Fest. It's free to the community, but we focus on the kids. It's a family-friendly event. Every kid that comes in gets provided with a ticket for a free lunch. So thank you, Colonel Mustard comes out with that
Nice.
food truck.
Okay.
And then we have a gaming truck
I
that can.
don't know. Is that like his name, or is that the name of the business, or
It's Colonel
Th-
Mustard.
you're getting me lost in this Colonel Mustard thing?
Colonel
Okay.
Mustard.
Okay.
With a candlestick and no, I'm
All
kidding.
right.
Sorry.
in the laboratory, yeah.
Exactly. They have a gaming truck that they can come and play at. We'll have little carnival games. They get a raffle ticket, and part of what we have is a passport. So they go and do all these activities, and they'll earn more tickets for the raffle. We give out free laptops, Kindles, and some other prizes and books and stuff, because books are important still.
Yeah.
And we have resource fair from local services, Pima Community College will be there, all sorts of things. And then we have cybersecurity, so parents can learn about the cybersecurity. The store is open. And then they learn about digital art. They get to create some digital art stuff. So it's a great time, 10 to 2. It's at our premises. We have a big side lot. And again, it's free. It's family friendly. And bring your kids, because the kids get to eat free.
So it's 10 to 2 on what date again?
On Saturday, October 5th.
Saturday, October 5th. Awesome.
So many great services.
Mm.
So Mimi, can you tell us a little bit about your school day out program?
So our School Day Out program is an extension of our Youth Tech Camp, which we run in the summer. So we do a mini version of it when schools are out. This year, in October, on the 10th, all the schools will be out. We're running a one-day program, and it's focusing on robotics. And the great thing about this program is it's free. So it's free for a kid to attend. There is limited seating, though. And they'll get build a robot, and they get to keep it and take it home.
That's cool.
We also provide lunch, so it's an inclusive program, and it's 3rd grade through 11th grade.
Where do you guys come up with this stuff?
My warped imagination. No,
Yeah.
just kind of thinking of what.
As long as you
kids-
didn't say the trauma of your childhood.
No, I didn't have I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
No, what would be interesting to kids, but also where's there that need? And robotics is STEM, and there's a lot of studies that show you do these kind of programs, even their one-day programs or after school or these camps that are STEM, and these kids get exposed to it, they're more likely to continue with it. And STEM is the future, or STEAM, I should say. Now we look at the arts as well. And I thought it'd be cool. I look in and see what would be fun to do,
Yeah.
that they can learn something but enjoy it. And thank you to Ward 3 for being our sponsor, for allowing us to be able to do this
That's awesome.
with funding.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And I'm going to take a big jump backward, and then we'll take a step forward in the event vein and talk about the pickleball tournament that you have coming back. But we'll take that big jump backwards because we did have the pleasure of seeing your storefront and seeing the We Care Tucson location. And if you haven't been, tell us what the crossroads of
So we are located on Stone at 3029 North Stone. So
Yeah.
we're just south of Fort Lowell on the west side of the street.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, you probably have driven, most of you listening have driven by it thousands of times and just didn't maybe notice it for whatever reason. But again, if you haven't been, I highly recommend you just check it out because it's really unique. It's really cool. The energy there is great. Whether you're going to purchase something, donate something, or just take in kind of this place of giving and of care and of for lack of a better word, I hate to keep using the word over and over again, but uniqueness. Like you weren't, when I stepped into this place, which I've seen a lot of cool places. I run a tiny house village for homeless veterans, but I went there and I was like, wow, this is cool. They got a little computer station elves over there fixing stuff, and you got like medical needs supplies over here. And then when you walk in, you got some really nice computers there
Oh, yeah.
available for people. And it's, I mean, even with our program, you've helped us out substantially so far. So,
And we'd
Thank
like
you.
to help other nonprofits too. We've had some that have come. They've needed desktops or laptops. We had a preschool that lost their funding, and so we were able to provide them with 11 desktops that they could use for school.
That's wonderful.
So
And-
Yeah.
at no cost. Yeah.
Can students of all ages go purchase computers there? Or are you centered around
Anybody
kids?
can purchase a
Anybody?
computer.
Okay, okay.
But we have the low cost for students. What I found is I had a student who came in and she needed a laptop. She wasn't allowed to get one from school anymore because in 3rd grade she had broken one. She was in 11th grade now. You know, you can't tell the kid what they did in 3rd grade. And I realized
Yeah.
that there's a need, you know, and so we came up with this program, and we have some students need specific laptops. They have to be Chromebooks for some of TUSD, so we have a selection of Chromebooks. Others don't need that. We have Windows 11 installed on it. They're, you know, they're good computers for the kids to do schoolwork on it.
Yeah, it's cool. So I promise that we talk about the pickleball tournament. I think this is the second year you're
It's
doing
our
it, right?
second
yeah,
annual-
second annual pickleball tournament.
On
yeah.
December 6th, 7th, and 8th. This year, we will be at the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. Friday will be women's doubles. Saturday is mixed doubles. Sunday is men's double. And we put in a new pickleball category. It's the family event,
Hmm.
and one adult and one kid.
Oh, that's fun.
Can come out and play.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
so we're excited about that. And then
Me
we have
and
a
my
barbecue.
35-year-old kid are going to have a great time with that. he's an NFL player, no big deal.
And we have if you don't play pickleball, you can still come out on Saturday night. We have a barbecue
Okay.
with live entertainment by a great band. There'll be raffles. There'll be cornhole. Well, we've got pickle hole, and a pickle pull, and then a silent auction
Nice.
and great food.
Going all pickle out.
We're
on this
pickling
one.
you
We're
out.
pickling out on this
As
one.
long as you're not
Will you be
pickled.
serving pickles as well?
I think we will.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
Absolutely.
idea.
I love
Hot
pickles.
pickles or something like that.
Oh man, see now you see that's why they need the man with the plan for the brand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, it's-
in printing.
Pickleball players don't drink pickle juice or eat pickles, but cyclists do. So go
Interesting.
figure that one out.
Huh. Interesting. I'm gonna be scratching my head all day over this. I'm gonna lose sleep over this, Mimi. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mimi.
That's what I'm here for.
So for people who want to donate, want to visit the place, want to get involved, want to connect with you in any way, shape, or form, We Care Tucson, how can they do that?
So you can visit our website at wecaretucson.org. You can visit our location at 3029 North Stone. You can call us at 520-514-1588, or you can text the word pickle to 866 Tucson 5 and
That's
learn more
fun.
about it.
That's just fun. You're fun, Mimi. You're too
Yeah.
fun. I'm just gonna go live over at We Care Tucson. I don't care. Don't
You
kick
can be
me
our
out,
security.
please. Yeah, I'll be the security. Yeah, I'll keep the place clean. Don't worry. Yeah, it'll be nice. So yeah, thanks again.
You're welcome.
For
Thank
sure.
you for having me.
Yeah, this is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain here with my favorite host and your favorite realtor, Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International, as well as Ran, the man with the plan for your brand with Blue Pearl Design and Printing. And as always, we want to thank our sponsors, Proper Villains, our favorite for Tucson, Allegra Printing, our other favorite, actual favorite, We Care Tucson, 100 plus guys who give, Tucson Tamale Company, Desert Sunset Realty, White Sign Ranch, Roofs Are Hot, Always Faithful Home Inspection, Photography by Jonathan Lear, Levity Wellness Center, Crest Insurance, Tucson Package Ship, Piper Family Insurance, Steamy Concepts, Donto Dust Landscaping, Kama Moksha, Ostrom Consulting, and Bin Masters. And remember, Rand, at the end of every day, it's night.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, here with your favorite real estate agent, my favorite co-host, Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International, as well as Ran, the man with the plan for your brand with Blue Pearl Design and Printing. Hey.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hello, Randall.
Good to see
PQ
you
Pickle.
across me.
Yeah, you like it. This is a different sitting position for those who are just listening and not watching. So, those who go to YouTube, you get to see what Rand looks like up close and impersonal and full color, which is the view you want of Rand. So, definitely check it out.
Well, we even have a better view with our co-host. That's what
Yeah.
That's what.
Well, next
really
time you
want.
guys will switch and have Alicia sit in front, and
Yep,
then
there you go.
we'll switch, and then I'll sit there, and then we'll just play musical chairs, and then we'll just slowly remove chairs until there's no more chairs left.
And they'll just be dancing.
Yeah,
after
we'll
that.
just be dancing. Absolutely.
You guys are funny together.
This is us always. Yeah, so that all being said, let's introduce another friend of kind of our Networking Arizona Sands Club friend. I'm gonna probably completely butcher your name, Joel, but I'm gonna try not to. We have Joel Barney Hama with he does financial services, and instead of having me tell you about it, Joel, let me know if we don't have a Joel. There is no Joel. I've been told there's no Joel. So you're
Joe's
actually
on hiatus.
yeah, Joe. There. So instead, we're going to. You guys are in for a good time. We're going to have just an open conversation. We're going to do, Rand, what you said that we should do
That's
sometime.
right. We manifested this
Yeah.
in real time.
And look
No
at that.
planning.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
he
That's,
said this like literally 6 minutes ago.
Yeah, during the break, Rand said, "You know what? We should just kind of just talk, and especially us with the new co-hosts, have them get to know us and who
Right.
we are as people."
Oh,
and,
that's great. I like that.
well, you lead the conversation since it was your idea.
right.
No, don't
on.
get big eyes now.
So my question would be is how did you, Jonathan, and Alicia, how did you guys find each other? How did this all come about, the initial host and co-host?
Mhm.
So I met John at the Sands Club at a networking event.
Right on.
Mhm.
And I originally approached him because he talked about helping homeless veterans.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I asked him if he knew of any resources for, people who are homeless who aren't veterans.
Mhm.
And so I set up a meeting with him so I could just talk to him about that. It was a really busy day,
Mhm.
right? Like there was
Yeah.
lots of people. It was a great
Mhm.
a great day to network.
Yeah, and I think that was your first event going to the Arizona Sands Club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
It was.
you seemed a little nervous at first, but like always, as soon as you kind of like get up and it's time to
Mhm.
perform, you're like, okay, well, showtime. Yeah.
Really inside, I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, I know.
I was
No one
still
ever
kinda
does.
scared.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I was forced. I had to talk, right? Like they were like, "Oh, everybody go around and talk about your business," and I was like, "Oh, here we go." But it happened. So that's how I met John. We talked about the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was.
Then how did the connection happen between?
Yeah. Well, we had that lunch, and then when we had that lunch, actually, I want to feel like was it after that lunch? Then I had you on the show, or before,
That
or
was the
was
sec-
before the lunch?
It was after the lunch.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, when we had that lunch, we were kind of like we do with everybody. You and I. I want to think it's
Right.
probably just a natural habit. We're like, okay, these are natural gaps that I see in your brand or kind of what you're doing,
Mm.
and also these are gifts that I potential that I see in you and things that I see you could do if you wanted to, and here's suggestions if you wanted to carry that out.
Mhm.
And that, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think, too, what is such a wonderful, from my experience of both you and Alicia, is that there is a synergy, right? A natural draw, kindred souls.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like with you and I, when we first met, it was friendship at first sight.
Mm-hmm.
We just knew, you could see it. And I felt the
Yeah.
same way with Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
It was just this connection
Yeah.
of just like kindred souls, and our hearts are in the right place, and our
Yeah.
minds are elevated, so that it's just like a natural gravitation.
Yeah.
towards
It's
one
like
another.
energy, just
Yeah.
really good energy. Yeah.
And I'm
good
glad
conversation.
I'm glad you make that connection, because realistically, when I met Alicia and once we got to know each other better, just like with you,
Mm.
I saw another powerhouse
Right.
that
Exactly.
didn't see the same level of powerhouse in themselves.
Yeah.
So I just spoke to that with her. And the more and more I spoke to that with her, just like with you, the more and more she felt empowered, and the more she stepped up to, here she is stepping into this role and stepping more and more into her rightful place within the Common Good Media Group family.
Yep.
Yeah. And thank you guys for just, I think in life, there's always ups and downs and things like that. And just having people who believe in you and like see more in you is just such a blessing to have.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. It's an absolute blessing. I think that's what Jonathan gives, and that's his.
You're with the Jonathan, okay?
I know. I don't know why. I think it's, well, I know why, but
Yeah,
okay,
it's
John.
Yeah, you can call me whatever. You can call me whatever you want, but just
Okay,
know that
John. I'm gonna call you John. But my whole thing is that you have this gift to see the gift in others, and that gift that you see in others, you empower them to express it, and that to me is just such a wonderful, rare trait to have. And what, like Alicia was saying, is that when you have someone in your life that reflects back to you the power that you have, the inherent power, but you're afraid to show it, and then when someone gives you the permission to be yourself, you give that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think To a really big thing, when you were talking about the homeless and then you told your story,
Mm.
I thought was really cool. I think they say that your pain is your power.
Mm,
I don't
mhm.
know if you like resonate with that,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
like,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel
well-
like that you're the perfect
Mhm.
person to help somebody in that position.
I'm
It's just
actually
easier.
steal that. I've never heard that before. I'm gonna
Yeah.
steal that. I usually say that my testimony is my superpower,
Yeah.
or I advise other people turn your testimony into your superpower.
Mhm.
But your pain is your power. That's much simpler.
Right.
Yeah, so when
Yeah.
you were talking about it, I was like, oh, this is a good person. I mean, so if you were to go to a homeless and start talking to them about how they can better
Mhm.
themselves and things like that, or just anything that they're going through, I think that they'll feel comfortable talking to you about it. Because for
Mhm.
one, you've been in their shoes, and then for
Mhm.
two, yeah, just it just flows better with you even talking
Yeah.
to them because you know what they're going through.
Yeah, you've been there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and I mean, and I guess a question I'll extend to both of you. We got probably a couple minutes. We got to jump out of here.
Mhm.
Is what have you gained so far in being part of this, and what drew you to want to even be radio show hosts? Like, some people, this has been like a dream since a kid. Like for me, in some capacity, it has been. What about you guys?
You want to go first, or I go first?
Ladies first.
For me, it was stepping out of my comfort zone.
Mm.
I'm a little bit camera shy. I'm just a little bit shy in
Mhm.
general,
Mhm.
as you both know. I don't know about you, but
I don't
as
think-
you know, John,
I don't see
I'm
it.
Yeah.
I see it, but I don't see it.
yeah, I'm a little shy. I guess maybe that's just how I feel inside. So
Right.
I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to step out of my comfort zone,
Mm.
and that's just one of a few reasons. But I'm gonna let you go because I know we don't have too much time.
I would say it's also is a part of what you said in stepping out of my comfort zone, and yet I've been behind the mic, and so, but it's always been a dream of mine to be in a part of a show,
Mhm.
and so it's just really it's fascinating how the Lord works,
Mm.
and when your passion is your heart,
Mm.
it becomes to manifest,
Yeah.
and so I'm just so absolutely grateful to be with both of you. So.
Yeah, and I think this is just so good to be a part of.
Mhm.
Such a great thing.
It
and
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything you represent is so
I
is
appreciate
great.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying, guys. You're
You're not trying.
I'm
You're doing it.
Yeah, I believe it. I really do. My God is as an amazing God, and He's certainly been blessing me so much. I mean, He blesses me with you guys. I mean, you guys
Same
know
with
Martin, Ron, Andreas. Like, we got a great team.
We do.
We're really, Ivani. We're so Jonathan, Arlia. We're so blessed with the people that we have around us. So again, I mirror back to you guys. Thank you for trusting me for coming on to the team, because we got some cool stuff ahead of us.
We do.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll close with that, man, before we start crying and having a hug fest. Here at
Well, I
Studio.
got you beat. I'm crying.
Yeah, for sure. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program. Definitely go to veteranrescuemission.org to find out more about the show and about the work that we're doing for the homeless veteran population as a whole. I am Pastor John McClain, here with your favorite real estate agent and my favorite co-host, Alicia Sanchez with Omni Homes International, as well as Rand Williams, the man with the plan for your brand with Blue Pearl Design and Printing. Thank you guys once again.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
And also remember, if you're feeling down, just go ahead and sit back, relax for 24 hours, watch the beautiful world rotate. It will really make your day.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program Veteran Rescue Mission. This is the last segment. I am Pastor John McClain, here with your favorite real estate agent and my favorite co-host. Her name is Alicia Sanchez. She's with Omni Homes International, and I have not mentioned it yet, but tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to look at a house, sell their house. I know you especially love new home buyers. Speak to that a little bit.
I do. It's just exciting.
Yeah.
It's just an honor to be part of somebody's first transaction. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. And the best way to get a hold of me is by phone, 520-809-3343.
Awesome. And then we also have here, I'm graced to have 2 co-hosts now on the show. We have Rand Williams, the man with the plan for your brand, with design, print, with Blue
Design
Pearl Design
Pearl,
Printing.
yeah.
There's so many words,
Earl to
Rand,
Pearl
so
Monroe,
many
man.
words.
I'm high
I'm gonna have
maintenance.
to write them all
Yeah.
down, or maybe I'll just have to like a recording that I just play every single time, so
Yeah, don't take it
I don't mess
personal.
it up.
I'll
John
make,
forgets a
I'll
lot
make
of
a
stuff.
poster for you.
That'd be great. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. But
John
yeah.
sometimes forgets things.
But we just did a
sometimes.
you missed a fun segment, Andreas,
Oh yeah, I bet.
of the origin story of how they became the co-hosts on the story
Oh, cool.
on
Oh,
the
man.
show, and it's a great segue because Andreas was the guy who I talked into starting this whole radio show spiel in the first place with the Common Good Radio Show. My very first co-host,
Mhm.
and now the present co-host. So, but there can only be
Yes.
one, so you have to fight it out. I got my money on Alicia.
Oh, thank you, John.
Well, Andreas Ruiz, he's a motivational speaker and coach, and author, and many things. But he was getting into motivational speaking and coaching when I originally asked him to do the radio show because not only is he an excellent speaker and and presents very well, is so charismatic and beyond handsome. I don't think they have a word
Oh,
for the
thank you,
type
man.
of handsome
Appreciate
that
it.
he is. But I've said it so many times, and I'll say it so many times more. If it wasn't for Andreas Ruiz and I believe myself, leadership and coaching, there would be no Common Good Radio Show. There would be no Common Good television show. There wouldn't be 7 networking events at the Arizona Sands Club for the Common Good Media Group. There probably wouldn't be a Common Good Media Group because having someone like Andreas that I meet with him once a week, thank God, because I get the best friend discount. But having someone that I meet with regularly, that I give permission to hold me accountable, that I trust, that I know will be confident with this information that I'm talking about, that I know has my best interest in mind and my organization's best interest in mind, is made a world of difference. And I guess kind of real quickly, Andreas,
My head's hurting right now.
yeah,
Just-
you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. Every single piece of it, because even Veteran Rescue Mission. I mean, our relationship started with you helping homeless veterans, and then me twisting your arms to do more.
Yeah.
Than our relationship with that. So, I guess speak to I Believe Myself, and what that is. And then we'll spin off to some of the stuff that you guys do.
Yeah. So what I do is I do public speaking for colleges, high schools, organizations, some real estate. I've done some solar, life insurance, and basically like what I do is I help them with like motivation, self-care, finding purpose. That's one of the topics that have been coming up, which I have a presentation called Elevate Your Influence, discovering your higher purpose. And basically like what I'm doing is I'm just helping people find that purpose and that motivation within them, because there's a lot of apathy going on right now. A lot of people are losing interest in their work or just in life. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring some hope in these people's lives. And, it's been an amazing experience. Just last week, I had the opportunity to speak at the casino for educators all over the state, all over the United States. And I was talking about self-care, just taking care of yourself and, reminding that, hey, like, you got to control that anxiety or that feeling of nervous. Like today I had a client who was reaching out. She's a really nervous person, and I'm helping her with her nerves. She gets really nervous. She had interview on one of the shows, and she was just feeling really nervous, and I gave her some tips, like on how I overcame my feeling of nervous, because I used to deal with a lot of anxiety, extreme anxiety, to the point where my thoughts would make me sweat. I would just be sitting there and sweating and feeling like really anxious about life, and sometimes having panic attacks, man. And I would hide those panic attacks because I didn't want to be seen as weak. And so for me, to be able to serve people on that level, I help business owners, entrepreneurs, and I help them more with the mindset piece, making sure that they're taking care of their that nervous system, because it could get really really bad in there, man. And you know, your head, you know, like we think 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. It's 3,000 thoughts an hour. And some people get into their head, and when you get into your head, you're dead, because your head will tell you all the reasons why you suck, why you're not good enough, and then you believe it. And then once you believe it, that becomes your reality. And sometimes those stories are not even yours. They came from somebody else. Somebody told you you're not good enough, or you're going to make a mistake, or you're going to fail. And then you accept that story, and then that story now becomes your reality. So what I'm helping people is I'm helping them break through those negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs that hold them back from their greatness.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Life is hard, and a lot of people go through things like in silence.
Oh yeah.
So
And
this month's suicide prevention month. Right?
Yeah.
So that's really big.
It is. It's huge. And I do a lot of speaking around suicide prevention too. You know, like I talk to a lot of schools. Just this last 3 years, I've had over 20 kids come up to me telling me that they're thinking about killing themselves. And it's something that's really near and dear to my heart, because I, at one point in my life, wanted to take my life. I was going through depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. I would drink a lot. I would smoke a lot. I would do cocaine. I would take pills. You know, was a womanizer, was always trying to find love in women that didn't
go
love
on
themselves.
with the party. What kind of party?
Yeah, exactly. It was a party, man,
Yeah.
but it was a party of death. Like, I was a really unhappy person.
Yeah.
You know, even though I had a person next to me, I was still unhappy. And, you know, it was something that I learned not to do anymore, because I don't want to be that guy anymore. I want to be a better man, and I want to serve people and help people and love on people, and, you know, understand that, hey, everybody's going through something, and putting myself in their shoes, and that way I can serve them the way that they desire to be served. And I like this quote. I think it's called the Platinum Rule: treat others as they would like to be treated. You know, instead of saying, oh, do unto others as you would like for them to do to you. No, treat others how you would like for them to be treated. That's why you listen and pay attention and learn about them. So it's been a interesting experience for sure.
And you had to like start with yourself, right? Like
Absolutely.
Start with
That's it.
yourself, and then you can help other people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the self-love piece. I actually have a presentation called Loving Yourself from the Inside Out, and it's been a process for me to love myself, because I really truly love myself. I really do, and I appreciate myself, because if I don't love myself, I can't love you, I can't love my family. You can't give what you don't have. So for me, I give myself self-love, self-compassion, empathy, all these things that I can then give to others, and that way I can serve my clients at a higher level. And you know, I always try to show up, you know, with love and compassion for people.
Well, what's a project you're currently working on that you're excited about?
Oh, author. So this is called Reinvent Yourself: Stories of Transformation. So right now, thankfully, you know, I already have actually my second one. I already booked it. Like the second book is already filled up. So now I'm working on the third book, and for people who want to write that, you know, 6 to 8 page chapter, just to get started. Some of these people are excited, man. They're like, man, I couldn't stop. I wanted to write more. And I'm like, well, that's when we're going to get started with the big book. So if you're that type of person that's been thinking about writing a book, has been thinking about it for weeks, months, years, maybe a decade or 2 decades, and you would like to at least get your feet wet and then just write a chapter about a challenge you had, how did you overcome it? I invite you to, reach out to me at IBelieveCAL@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me at Andres Ruiz on Facebook, and I can give you the information, the step-by-step guide on how to write that chapter so that you can become an author in a few months. I mean, you're going to be on the book next month, and
I'm
you know
excited.
what I mean? It was pretty
I'm
quick,
excited.
right? Was it pretty quick?
It was surprisingly efficient. Like I'm see you writing hundreds of books or helping hundreds of people write books, just because I think in 2 weeks I got my part of the book done, and certainly it's a small piece of what will be a much larger book. I already see it, just because if I did one chapter in 2 weeks, how in 10 weeks I can do.
And it wasn't even 2 weeks. It was probably like in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Some people are saying like, hey, it took me like an hour and a half to write this book.
For sure. It didn't really take me 10 weeks. It took me a day for sure.
Yeah.
One day within that 2 weeks to write it. So yeah. So for people who want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
You can message me at 520-392-9179, Facebook Andres Ruiz, Instagram Andres Ruiz Motivates, LinkedIn Andres Ruiz, and then my email is IBelieveCAL@gmail.com, or you can send me you can check out my website, IBelieveInMyself.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, sir.
It's Andreas Ruiz with I Believe in Myself. I am Pastor John McClain. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm here with my favorite co-host, sorry guys, and your favorite real estate agent, Alicia Sanchez. And then I'm here with Rand Williams, the man with a plan for your brand, with Blue Pearl Design and Printing.
Ah, you got it.
We will see you next week. And remember, at the end, what do we remember at the end of every day, Rand?
Love is God, God is love.
That's it.
I love it.
Hispanic Alliances Radio Show. Highlighting Tucson Hispanic organizations and culture every week.
All right, welcome back to the Hispanic Alliances Radio Show. I am your host, Andres Ruiz, with the pastor Jonathan Lee McClain. No relation to Bruce Lee.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that was going. But
I know, right?
No relation of, because people confuse us all the time.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know, just a little bit different on the cheeks, I guess. But
It's I have more blush.
yeah, but yes, we're back, man. We're back here. Boards don't kick back. So we have
Biwata.
Biwata. Yes, we have a very, very special guest today. This gentleman, I've had the privilege of getting to know. We've had lunch together. We've worked together. Really great dude. Like he's doing some great things for our community. And his name is Dustin Williams, and he is the Pima County School Superintendent. So welcome to the show, Dustin. How are you feeling today, man?
Andreas, Jonathan, how are you? Glad to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pleasure is ours. I mean, and I've had Andreas tell me a couple times about, meeting up with you, just about you in general. Obviously, I know who you are. And it's just such an honor to have you on the show. And it's been, a pleasure kind of just hearing about, the relationship you and Andreas have been able to form and the work you guys have been able to do to help the kids. So, again, thank you for coming on the show. It's such an honor to have you on.
Yeah, really glad to be on here, and glad to be around good people that all have the right vision for just helping people to get to that place in life where they can better themselves and better our communities.
Absolutely, yes. Dustin. Yeah, and I've been telling John, just all the amazing things that you're doing, and just about your office and all the good stuff. But tell the audience about your office. What do you guys do? How do you help our community? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I'm an elected official. I get elected every 4 years by the grace of the constituents and the voters. The office is called the Pima County School Superintendent's Office. And basically it's what's called kind of like a row office. So you have your county attorney, you have the treasurer, you have the recorder, the assessors, and you also have the schools. And the elected officers are kind of the chief operating officer of that area. So we would be working directly with pretty much all constituents in all schools in Pima County, but statewide, and it even goes a little bit into the nation, depending on what your reach is. And we do three big things at the Pima County School Superintendent's Office. So one, we're heavily admin, a lot of money. We're kind of the accountants that work with the treasurer and the schools, make sure everything balances up. And when that money comes through, our offices, we don't have authority. So I'm not the boss of, say, TUSD or AMPHI or BASIS or these schools that you might know, intimately in your areas. But we do with the district schools. We funnel their money to them. So it's a check and balance to make sure that the transparency and the accountability of the public tax dollars is all being counted correctly. We also do all the bonds and all the overrides for schools. So when they want to go for more funding, because Arizona is a very low-funded state per pupil across the nation, which is a big challenge. School districts have to go to their neighborhoods and their communities and say, hey, we want to maybe raise the interest rate, or we want to go for a bond. And that money's going to go for, teacher salaries. It's going to go for programming, curriculum, all sorts of neat stuff. So we run that. So we're also an election house for the schools, which is a ton of work. And that's the main body of the admin piece. We have two other big things we do. One is we are a huge professional development provider. So this is an interesting law with these elected offices, is you can create programs based on need. So if schools come to you and say, hey, we need help with getting our assistant principals to that next level, then we want to build a whole leadership program. And those are the types of things that we build. And so we have staple programs at my office that deal with leadership academies, special education departments, gifted education departments, business and education partnerships. One that Luis just worked with, which is our Resilient Schools program, which is all about social emotional trauma and neurology of students and adults. And those programs, and what's unique about that's how you move the needle. So when people say, how do you improve education? You got to find the need in the specific school, because they're all so different. So one school might need full-on special education department and figure out all the newest strategies and techniques to make sure that kids are getting world-class education. But another school might not need that. They might have to do a leadership program with their assistant principals. Another school might want to be working on their social emotional learning, trauma in their schools. And so we kind of work with everyone to find out what that need is, and then we bring that program. And then the third big thing we do, which is really unique, is when you get elected as the Pima County School Superintendent, and there's 15 of us, because there's 15 counties in the state. So Maricopa has one, and Gila has one, and Yavapai, and we're on the same political cycle as the president's cycle. So we're all up right now in 2024, and whoever makes it's going to go to 2028. But the third big thing we do is one school is ours, and that school is called the Accommodation School District. That's the school that is located in your juvenile detention center and your adult jail. So even when a minor has some major challenges in their life, they're still going to get a great education to the best of our ability and their ability when they're in the juvenile detention center and the adult jail. And that's also where Luis and I really started our partnership as far as working with our kids on leadership techniques, resilient attitudes, and then everything that Luis really brings in his packages that get the kids to feel good about themselves. And that's the most important part, because their lives are so hard. So that's what goes on 365 days a year as an elected official, and is always on my mind. It never stops. It never sleeps. It's pretty wild. And again, just really, really thankful and grateful for all the voters out there to let me be here. I got elected in 2016. I got elected again in 2020. And by the grace of the voters, we're getting elected again in 2024 because we're running unopposed. So I'm just humble and honored to stay focused on the job. And I look forward to the next 4 years.
Yeah, man. I mean, and yeah, it's been an honor, to be able to work with these young men and then these young women too. I've had the honor of working with some of these young women as well. And I know that you were mentioning about this Resilience Summit, just quickly, tell us a little bit about how that experience was, share, the experience that we all had about this, wonderful Resilience Summit that, I was able to be a part of as well.
It was a really unique opportunity came. It's in the three things I just explained, the admin pieces, and then we have the school, and then we have our professional development. So this is a program that we created in partnership with Dr. Leslie Anway. And we were doing some stuff in this space and it was called Healthy and Safe Schools. And it was a lot of suicide prevention and kind of professional behavioral incentive work. And it was hitting the mark, but it was getting a little bit drowned out with everything else that was coming in suicide prevention. And we found that the health department got this incredible grant. It was like $6 to $8 million. It's really wild. I mean, and they could build this space. And so I didn't want to duplicate efforts. So what we did is we switched our Healthy and Safe Schools motto and worked with all the schools that go through the health department on suicide and prevention, which is super, super important to do. And it's really critical right now. But what we found out was there was a new need for
10
what's
seconds.
going on with our students based on trauma. And that trauma is basically also called mental health, or it's also called social emotional learning. All three basically mean the same thing, but also the neurology behind it. So what happens to trauma or addiction, and then how do you look at it in a way that involves the brain to explain it? So when you're working with students and adults, you can say, hey, we understand you have this trauma or this addiction, but did you know the neurology behind it? So if it happened at this age, you're completely normal because this is what the brain just does.
And Dustin, my apologies, but yeah, we were kind of like got like 20 seconds here. But man, I know we could go on about this, but really quick, can you give us your contact information for the audience to hear?
Schools.pima.gov. I'd love to teach you all more about it, and just happy to be on.
Awesome, thank you, Dustin. I appreciate you. Have a good one, and we'll be right back after this.
Hispanic Alliances Radio Show. Highlighting Tucson Hispanic organizations and culture every week.
All right, welcome back to the Hispanic Alliances radio show. I'm your host, Andres Ruiz, along with the Bruce Lee. Jonathan Lee
Water.
McLean. Yes. And so our next guest is a very special guest that I just had the pleasure of meeting today through my good friend Lorena Verdugo. Lole, that's what I call her. But her name is Dulce. And actually, you know what? What's your last name, Dulce?
García.
Ok, ahí lo vi. Y vamos a cambiarle poquito. Nos vamos a ir de inglés a español con Dulce García, que es la coordinadora de estudios con Del Sol Research. So, bienvenida. ¿Cómo estás el día de hoy?
Gracias, muy bien. Gracias por la invitación.
Gracias por estar aquí, te lo agradezco. Y nomás para empezar poquito, Dulce, ¿podrías comenzar nomás contándonos qué es Del Sol Research y el tipo de trabajo que realizan ahí?
Claro que sí. Somos una clínica de investigación y lo que hacemos es tratar medicamentos que están a punto de salir al mercado, pues para ayudar.
Claro.
Nuestro goal es ayudar y ayudamos a los patrocinadores pues a que el paciente, o le llamamos subject, pero el paciente que está desesperado por atenderse porque su medicamento que ya está tomando no le está ayudando como antes.
Sí.
So, lo que están tratando es de sacar medicamento nuevo que realmente ayude más todavía.
Sí.
¿No?
Sí, so como que esto, basically what they're doing is just like studies, to like help people who maybe are on, the verge of like maybe having some challenges with their health, and they're doing studies that somewhere people can't afford, or maybe like medical treatment that that's something that they can't afford as well. So I mean it's a wonderful company, organization that is doing a lot of good for people who are having challenges like with their health, so es un labor muy bonito lo que están haciendo, de seguro. Y te estamos platicando un poquito ahí aquí afuera del estudio, que lo que haces, y a ti se te escucha la pasión, pues como que te encanta lo que haces y tú
Sí,
me
me
estás
gusta
platicando.
mucho.
Sí, y lo siento cuando platicas la emoción. I mean, I just feel her vibe, you know, like she really enjoys
yeah.
what she loves. So
Sí.
I love that, you know. And so, ¿cómo estos estudios, cómo ayudan a los estudios de investigación a los enseños clínicos a encontrar mejores tratamientos para afecciones como el reflujo ácido? Platícanos un poquito de eso.
So, tenemos muchos procedimientos que hacer, obvio, para ayudar al paciente
Sí.
que ya tiene reflujo. Por ejemplo, mucha gente lo conoce como reflujo o acidez estomacal o agruras. ¿no?
Sí, sí, sí.
Depende la persona con la que estés tratando, tienes que usar diferentes palabras para que ellos te entiendan. So,
Claro.
hacemos varios procedimientos, laboratorios, ultrasonidos, endoscopías. Por ejemplo, para este de reflujo,
Ujú.
hay una endoscopía que les mandamos a hacer para ver qué grado de si tienen úlceras.
Ok.
Incluso los latinos, los mexicanos que comemos bastante picante, pues estamos casi todos tenemos reflujo
Sí.
porque nos encanta, ¿no? La salsa y
Ay,
todo
no
eso.
me digas, ahorita en la mañana me eché un
Sí.
friego de salsa con los huevos.
Sí, y pues padecemos de agruras, es casi normal, ¿no? No es normal, pero pues casi la mayoría lo tiene. Nosotros ofrecemos una endoscopía totalmente gratuita cuando están en el estudio o incluso antes del estudio de firmar consentimiento y nos sale ahí con un gastroenterólogo, nos sale si tiene o no tiene úlceras y ya de ahí ya procedemos a más laboratorios, a más preguntas, todo ese tipo. So, creo que ayudamos en ese sentido, o sea, nos vamos muy a fondo para ver en qué podemos ayudar y cómo podemos ayudar.
Qué bien. Y qué interesante eso del reflujo ácido, como que es algo que uno pues no lo piensa mucho si la piensas, porque es algo como tan, sabe, mucha gente está platicando, el cáncer y que esto y lo otro, pero esto como que dices, ¿será tan serio? No sé, ¿me entiendes? Como, pero qué interesante que están haciendo eso y qué bueno que están haciendo
Y
eso.
se puede llegar a ser serio si no
Me
te cuidas,
imagino,
porque la
me
úlcera se puede llegar a ser cancerosa.
Claro,
So,
claro.
Entonces, le hacemos saber al paciente que es importante el chequeo, que no nada más es para que traten una medicina, sino nos preocupamos por el paciente. Y lo primero para nosotros es su seguridad.
Claro.
Estamos haciendo por eso todos esos procedimientos, todos esos laboratorios, cada que
Sí.
van, para asegurarnos de que esté bien. Nuestra prioridad es su seguridad.
Claro, absolutamente. And it's interesting how she's talking about like acid reflux and how that's like one of the studies that they're doing, that they're, looking at it as a very serious, thing, because especially Hispanics, because we love our salsa. I was just telling her, I just drenched my eggs in salsa this morning, and it could cause acid reflux, but eventually could lead to ulcers, which could eventually get to something even more serious, which could be like cancer or just something, more. So they're doing a lot of studies and a lot of great stuff, which I think is extremely important, and it's beautiful to see that awareness, esa conciencia de que uno tiene que. Mucha gente no le pone atención a esto. Pues nomás ando un poco, no tomar una agüita o lo que sea y ya voy a estar bien.
Sí.
Pero si sigue pasando, es
Hay
algo
gente
que ya tiene que atender.
perdón que te interrumpa.
No, claro,
Hay
dime.
gente que todos los días tiene reflujo.
Híjole.
Todos los días.
Ay,
Incluso
no,
al
no.
tomar agua, al
¿en
tomar
serio?
leche, a
Oh, my
comer
goodness.
una fruta. Pero como es todos los días, para ellos ya se normalizó. Pero
Sí.
quiero hacer pie de que no es normal.
No.
Tiene que checarse, pero por lo mismo de que mucha gente no tiene aseguranza, no tiene el recurso para ir a ver un doctor porque sale muy caro,
Sí.
pues se dejan, se toman un omeprazol, se toman un Tums
Ajá.
y ya con eso ya se les quita y pues ya siguen su vida normal, ¿no?
Sí. No, y pues uno, ya sabes, cuando yo he visto, pues yo con mi seguro que veo y luego digo, wow, me iba a salir esta cantidad si es que no tuviera seguro, nomás para un chequeo.
Sí.
Te quedas casi $1,000 como nomás por un chequeo, just like when I see sometimes like the insurance where it's like, it's almost $1,000 for the checkup. Had I not had insurance, and you end up paying like $50 or whatever, but it's like, dang, like, if people that don't have insurance, which is a wonderful, program, and I'm glad that we're having you on, because I mean, it's definitely something I didn't know about this, probably like more than half our audience, if not almost 90% of our audience, doesn't know about you guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's important that we, you know, and I'm glad that we're having you on the show today to highlight, you know, all the important work that you're definitely doing. And it's like something that people don't really look at, like you said, como dices tú, pues la gente dice,
Lo
normaliza, pues, y ahora, ojalá que alguien esté escuchando ahorita en este momento que diga, ¿sabes qué? Yo tengo este reto de reflujo ácido todos los días. Posiblemente, pues, puedo ir aquí con del Sol Research para que me puedan ver qué es lo que está pasando.
Y hemos tenido muchos pacientes que les ha ayudado. Les ha
Sí,
ayudado
me imagino.
casi a un 95%.
Wow.
So, invito a la gente que vaya y se haga un screening, que es un chequeo al
Sí,
principio, y hacerle endoscopía a ver si califican. Y creo que es más que nada para ayudarse ellos mismos. Que flojera comer cualquier cosita y estar a disgusto después.
Claro, claro. No, sí. Eso pues, como dices, como algo tan simple de disfrutar la comida, que uno dice, pues me pasa esto siempre, ni modo, pero ya cuando lo puedan tratar, tener un tratamiento, imagino a veces ha de ser un tratamiento más fácil de lo que uno pensaba, pero porque no van, porque tienen miedo de que, posiblemente lo de la aseguranza, pero también miedo de que si se encuentran algo mal. Como dice el George López, I'm not going to go to the doctor because they're going to find something wrong with me.
Yeah.
So eso como es el miedo, pues, de que, ay, no, a ver si algo me encuentran mal, pues, pero hay que encontrarlo, pues, antes de que se haga, que se empeore, pues.
Así es.
So, eso es muy importante. También platícanos poquito cómo ayudan los estudios de investigación y los ensayos clínicos a encontrar mejores tratamientos para... no, discúlpame. ¿Qué debería esperar una persona si decide participar en uno de estos ensayos clínicos sobre el reflujo ácido?
Lo que hacemos nosotros primeramente es tener completa transparencia.
Okay.
Les hablamos exactamente de lo que va a suceder en el estudio. Les explicamos el estudio, el medicamento, lo que hace, lo que van a esperar antes de firmar ese consentimiento. Después, pues se le hace una serie de estudios. Por ejemplo, se le puede hacer un electrocardiograma, signos vitales, dependiendo lo que sea del estudio. Como te digo, en acidez o reflujo, se les manda a hacer una endoscopía para ver qué tan serio es. Y ahí mismo, si encuentran algo, se te entregan tus resultados y te podemos, incluso si no tienes la ayuda de un doctor, se te puede guiar para ir a otras clínicas que ayudan igual que nosotros. No nada más se queda con el resultado y ya. O sea, les ofrecemos otros tipos de clínicas para que vayan y se atiendan, e incluso a veces hasta gratis, completamente gratis.
Wow.
O costos muy bajos. Eso es lo que hacemos. Él explica, los tratamos como si fueran familia, precisamente porque yo me imagino que es un poco, van con miedo a veces.
Sí,
entonces
claro,
tratamos de hacerles la visita muy amena. Todos somos, creo que los que trabajamos ahorita en el del Sol tenemos mucha pasión por lo que hacemos, y tratamos a la familia, ¿ves?
Sí.
A los pacientes como familia, y los hacemos sentir cómodos. Y siempre hemos tenido pacientes pues que se abren con nosotros hasta lágrimas. Entonces ahí estamos nosotros y todo va a estar bien y no se preocupa, aquí estamos para ayudarlo. Y eso es lo que me encanta de mi trabajo, el poder ayudar a la comunidad, no nada más con los estudios, pero haciéndolos sentir cómodos, y que ir al doctor no es una pena de muerte. Que mucha gente no va, como dijiste, porque, ay, no, ¿qué me van a decir? Ya tengo esto. No, vamos a checar y todo tiene solución. ¿No?
Qué bonito. Y sabes, y sí te creo porque lo veo en tus ojos.
Sí.
La emoción que
me gusta mucho mi trabajo.
Sí. Y sí, como te digo, lo veo en tus ojos, veo la emoción, que te gusta lo que haces, eso me encanta. Y pues ya sé que no platicamos y qué rápido se fue el tiempo, así pasa, pero para la gente que le interesa hacer, pues ir, tú sabes que le interesa ir ahí, pues para obtener tus servicios, ¿cómo se pueden comunicar contigo?
Estamos en la Tanque Verde. Estamos en
Ok.
la 6369 East Tanque Verde Road. Yo siempre les digo donde está el Costco de la Grant, porque
Ok.
mucha
Ya se la
gente
sabe
sabía.
todo. Yo también.
So, el Costco de la Grant, ahí estamos en la unidad 200, nomás caminas poquito, en Tucson, Arizona, 85715. Y nuestro teléfono es 520-257-3881.
Perfecto, pues muchas gracias, Dulce, por tu tiempo.
Gracias.
Me encantó. Ojalá que los podamos tener otra vez aquí en el estudio.
Ojalá.
This is the Hispanic Alliance's radio show. We will see you next week. Adiós.